Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and AMD decided to go out and release Radeon Rx Vega. So let's dive in. AMD finally announced the RX Vega graphics card. I thought it was going to take another month, or the announcement at SIGGRAPH here was going to say, hey, it would be announced next month, but they actually came through. And so what this is August 14th, we will finally be able to get, or the orders will be able to go out, or will be available on August 14th. That's huge. We have an availability date. I'm excited about that. So let's dive into the product stack that they have, and I'll get into a little bit more about what I think about their products at the end and the NVIDIA competition. So first off, at the high end, we have the Radeon Rx Vega 64 liquid cooled. Then right after that, we have the RX Vega 64 air cooled. We have the RX Vega 56, and then there's also, they announced the RX Vega Nano as well. The Nano is a nice addition to the previous Nano card that they had, and I'm excited about that. But let's just jump into basically some of the details here in each of the cards, and I'm going to start from the top and work my way down and go through them that way. But they have the RX Vega 64 liquid cooled card. That's going to be the 64 NCUs, or their compute units, and that's going to be at 13.1 teraflops, and that's featuring 4096 streaming processors as well. And they're saying that this is going to be about roughly 345 watts on the liquid. That's why it's liquid cooled, and then it's also going to be 484 gigabytes per second of bandwidth as well on the memory. So overall, pretty impressive. This is using HBM2. This whole stack is, so all these cards will be using HBM2, which is a new technology which we thought that might be maybe one of the reasons why it took them so long to get this out. But anyways, it's here now. Then right afterwards, this will be the air-cooled version. And in the air-cooled version, I'll compare the clock speeds as well between this and the liquid-cooled version. And the it's going to have the same 64 compute units, NCUs, and then it's going to be 12.7 teraflops, same amount of streaming processors, 4096, and it's going to be 295 watts, so about 50 watts lower as well, and 484 gigabytes per second of bandwidth as well, still with the memory. Speed wise, is the base clock speeds are going to be 1247 for the air cooled version, and that jumps up to all the way 1406 for the liquid cooled, so there's a little bit of difference there as well. And then it's going to be 1546 for the boost frequency, and then 1677 for the boost frequency of the liquid cooled version. So you kind of see in comparison the difference there between the two. And the boost frequency, from what I've read, is stating now this is what they will hit during basically every card will be able to hit this speed. It won't be a theoretical speed that maybe once out of a blue moon you'll finally see that speed. So we'll see, and I'll see that. I do plan on buying the RX Vega 64 air cooled version with one of the packs later on that I go through. But that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point right now. Let me know what you guys think, or what you're gonna get, or if you're gonna go with NVIDIA. I want to know some of those things, and also what you think you want me to test. But then let's jump in right into the RX Vega 56. This might be a sweet spot that is very interesting to me, and as looking at it, I think it might be a sweet spot that I was not anticipating. And this is going to have 56 NCUs, or their compute units, so you kind of get how they get the numbering scheme. 64 for 64 compute units, 56 for 56 computing units, and it's 10.5 teraflops, so you get over that double-digit mark there for teraflop compute. And then also you're going to have 3,584 compute units as well. And this is going to be about 210 watts and about 410 gigabytes per second of bandwidth as well. And so you'll see now that between the air-cooled version and air-cooled version of the 64 and 56 respectively, that's going to be about 85 watts difference for a drop of 2 teraflops roughly, 2.2 to be in their numbers exactly. That's going to be maybe a sweet spot that I wasn't expecting it much of. The Nano, there's not much information about that. They showed it off on stage, and that's as much of the information that I have been able to research so far. But the interesting part of all this release here is the Radeon packs that they're going to be coming out with. They have the Aqua Pack, the Black Pack, and the Red Pack. And so I'm going to go basically pricing off of these packs and go through what's in them, and then I'll get to basically the difference between this and the other prices of just the standalone cards here. But the Red Pack is going to, and all packs will come with these 3 items that I'm going to say next, which is a $200 discount on a Samsung FreeSync monitor, and then plus 2 games, Wolfenstein 2 and the Prey as well. That's a $120 value, and that's for the United States. I believe it's different games depending upon what region you're in. And then you have a $100 discount on Ryzen 7 1800X processor and a X370 motherboard combo. So that would also be a combo. Now the discounts on the monitor and on the processor motherboard, those are optional. If you already have those and you still want maybe the 2 games as well, you're not required to use those. But from what my understanding is, that these are required to happen at purchase of the RX Vega card, which may deter some people from doing that. But in the Red Pack, it is going to include the RX Vega 56 air-cooled version. Then when you jump up, and that's going to be for $499 United States dollars. I should also comment on that too. So this will all be in United States dollars here from here on out. Is the Radeon Black Pack. That's going to be the Radeon Rx Vega 64 air-cooled edition. And I guess you might have a choice, or whichever one sells out first. Or if the limited edition sells out first, then I'll just go to the Black Shroud. But you have the Black Shroud, which is just the reference cooler, and then, or it'll have the limited edition Silver Shroud. So if it's available and you want the limited edition, I believe, from my understanding, is only available in this pack. So if you want it, you have to get the Black Pack, and that goes for $599 USD. And again, it comes with that monitor discount, the 3 motherboard and processor combo for the 370X motherboard, or X370 motherboard, as well as those 2 games as well in the United States. Check your region, please, on the AMD site to see what is different in your region. And maybe you guys might have more interesting games that are for what you like to play. So, but otherwise, if you want the liquid version of the Radeon card going forward here and step into the next pack, is that you have to get the Radeon Aqua Pack at this time, and that goes for $699. That will allow you to get the liquid cooled edition of the Vega card, the only way to get it at this time. Again, you also get the Samsung FreeSync monitor, the 2 games, and then the processor and motherboard discount as well. If you already had purchased, the FreeSync monitor, or if you already have, the games, or because I think the games actually provide value in these packs. I kind of do. If you're going to pay full price for them, it's a good way to get those games for maybe a slight discount. But they will. They have the standalone cards, and you can buy them standalone. Now the prices of the standalone cards for the RX Vega 56 and the RX Vega 64 air-cooled edition only. So that's going to be $399 for the 56, and then $499 for the 64. And again, that's in US dollars as well, but there's a difference there, and you see it's about $100 cheaper if you just buy the cards themselves. Again, that's going to only be the air-cooled edition without, and that's going to be the non-limited edition one. So if you want the limited edition, you have to get the packs. What's interesting to me is that AMD seems to be doing this to try to entice gamers, or to make these cards be in the gaming industry. I don't know if they're allocating so many cards for this at retailers. It's going to help out retailers sell more items, maybe have a bigger profit margin overall, which is a good thing for retailers, especially since we need to be supporting them to be able to get these cards distributed well throughout the world. But I think they're trying to deter miners a little bit. You go after the gaming, grow the gaming segment that they have here at AMD, which I am all for. Now, I've dabbled in mining, but I also game, and I want to make sure I have a Vega card to game on. So there might be a little bit of bias here on my side, but I'm really excited if they really reserve so many cards so that we can actually game on them as well. So one interesting thing is that they've been talking up FreeSync 2 as well, and they talked it up again. They have some FreeSync 2 monitors coming out. They have some on their Radeon Rx website that I will post in the description below. I really wish AMD would show off more of the FreeSync 2, 4K, 60 frames per second stuff. They really pushed that as that this is what this card's capable of, and it seemed like a couple of monitors that were shown or on their site were 1440p, which is fine in widescreen, but I really am trying to go after that 4K, 60 frames per second. That's my, like, that's what you were advertising. That's what I want to go after. I wish that they had more of those monitors here at launch or at announcement at SIGGRAPH as well for this time. But to get back to it a little bit and wrap this up here, is that NVIDIA, I think, is in a great position. I think NVIDIA right now, they're sitting pretty, since this air-cooled Vega RX 64 card is aimed at the 1080 and not the 1080 Ti. NVIDIA can basically sit pat if they want, but I know Pascal's right down the road here, and they have that to jump all over AMD on as well. So they are in a great position. You know, the 56 is going to be a nice competitor to the 1070, I think. And to go through, as you know, I do have a video out, or if you haven't, take a look at it, about what my expectations are of Vega, and I am dampering them. I expected it to go after the 1080 Ti. That is not the case. I don't know where the air or the liquid cooled version stands, but as most people, I don't have to go with a liquid cooler on the 1080 Ti that is air cooled. So that's what I'm kind of comparing the two in between. So I think NVIDIA is in a great position. I think that they have room, and that they now have a competition. Somebody stepped into the ring with them, but it's just in the ring. It's not, you know, anything that's going to knock off their top dog at this time. But I'm excited that there's finally competition in the segment. I hope AMD doesn't go on hiatus again, but they keep pushing forward and keep pushing NVIDIA. NVIDIA then pushes back with AMD, and we get some really amazing graphics products here down the road as well. But with AMD, I'm glad that they're back into this top market. As I said, I've had to temper my expectations because I did an expectations video and I expected more from them. But I'm glad to see that we're finally in the high end, and that we can finally maybe move ourselves forward and get a product and everything else that's well deserved for the gaming industry, to have some competition, to be able to drive products to be at a better. So I want to thank you for stopping by and watching Gray Overload. Please subscribe. Please like the video if you like it, and don't forget to stop by again. Thanks for watching Gray Overload. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Gray Overload.